We've mentioned it before, and Brandon definitely wants to know more. So I think this one should cover a little bit.
And I want to learn about, I imagine there would be a large fireball.
Actually, complete opposite. Watching the video made me think if I'm going to crash in any sort of an aircraft, I'd prefer, so they'd take off from that airport, and I was looking into it, and about 3 million tons of unexploded bombs are either found every year or found like in the last decade. Modern aircraft like helicopters and drones are way more efficient, way more versatile, but it doesn't have that gotcha factor. It's just an eye catcher.
Welcome to the Aviation Mentors podcast, the podcast that takes your dreams of flight and turns it into reality.
Sponsored by Strass Financial, financing your flight training.
For pilots, by pilots. I'm Brandon Martini, a commercial pilot and flight instructor.
And I'm Carson Vasquez, I'm a private pilot.
Whether you're a seasoned pilot or beginner with dreams of flight,
Aviation Mentors is your source for expert insights, industry trends, and inspiring stories.
So fasten your seatbelts and prepare for this incredible journey through the skies.
And stay connected with us on social media for exclusive content.
And visit our website at www.aviationmentors.com and let us be your co-pilot on this adventure. Welcome back, everybody, to another amazing and, of course, awesome episode of the Aviation Mentors podcast. Thanks so much for joining us today. I hope you've enjoyed the last couple of episodes we've had out. They have been more fantastic than usual.
I think we're just getting better, and we actually recorded a couple this week. That
one of us is getting better.
And it's me. So we actually recorded a couple episodes this week. We have a 2-part series coming out. Brandon, why don't you tell them a little bit more about that? Because I know you're excited, over the moon about it.
I am over the moon about it. To the moon. We've got Dave Granville came over to our studio, recorded. He's going to be coming out, I think, in the episode after this. We're going to have a 2-part series out, and you're not going to want to miss this. I honestly think it's probably the best episode we've ever recorded, 2 episodes. And I think everyone's going to love it. If you can watch it on video, you should. There is a ton of emotion involved on these episodes, and I have to just let you listen to them yourself, because I was getting goosebumps. We were getting tears. It was the most emotion-packed episode we've ever recorded, and it was fantastic to have Dave in studio as our first in-studio guest on video. So that was fantastic.
That was really cool. And I think it was really cool just seeing you guys just really connect over, such an emotional topic. And we're talking about Dave's late father. And it was just an amazing episode. Mark texted me after and said, hey, can we do part 3 and 4? Can we have Dave back? Does Brandon want to talk? So
we are definitely going to have Dave back.
But too much good stuff there.
Too much good stuff. But I digress. You guys will hear that next week.
There's your I digress. Mentors. Dave.
I digress. There you go, Dave. There you go. Exactly. You're right. I do use that word quite a bit. Perfect. So today we're going to be talking about a new topic that I don't think we've ever talked about before, Carson.
We've mentioned it before, and Brandon definitely wants to know more. So I think this one should cover a little bit.
And I want to learn about dirigibles.
Dirigibles.
And Carson didn't even know what a dirigible was, because on our show notes, dirigible is not on there. And if anybody does not know what a dirigible is, it's hard to say.
It is. It's a weird word.
It is a blimp or a zeppelin. One of those lighter than air. Airship.
I like airship. That's a cool word.
Airship. Yeah, that just makes me feel like I'm watching like something.
Star Trek?
No.
You ever seen Star Trek?
Really, Carson? I've watched every episode of Star Trek.
Episode.
Every episode. There's like 600 and something episodes. Yeah. I've watched them all the way up to the Enterprise. Enterprise. I think after that, I haven't seen them. I've seen all of Voyager. I'm not going to get into Star Trek.
You used to have time back in those days.
No, I used to be bad, and I used to watch episodes while driving at the same time, because I used to drive like 250 miles a day.
Oh, well, I watch episodes while I work, so.
I don't even know what to say to that, Carson. What do I even say to
I don't know. Disciplinary action, I guess.
Yes. Write up?
Write me up after.
Can we give him a write-up?
Yeah, let's do the podcast first, then you can write me up.
First, then
all right, cool.
Okay, fine. All right, so today we're going to take a deep dive into dirigibles and also to a dramatic event that just happened a few days ago in Brazil that actually I'm hearing about for the first time in our show notes. And Carson's like, well, I already heard about it. So it was a promotional blimp hired by São Paulo Football Club for a soccer match or football match that crashed into a residential neighborhood in the Ocasio suburb. Fortunately, both the pilot and co-pilot were rescued with only minor injuries. And I'm assuming, Carson, you're going to tell us if anybody else passed away or anything like that. So I'm hoping nobody did. But I can't imagine a blimp crashing would go well. I imagine there would be a large fireball.
Actually, complete opposite. watching the video made me think if I'm going to crash in any sort of an airship or an aircraft
Or a dirigible.
or a dirigible, I'd prefer a blimp. This one, you got to watch it. It happened almost in like slow mo. It's like watching a plane crash in slow mo where nothing happens. Like it hit the building, it deflated.
And the building wasn't hurt?
The building wasn't hurt. I mean, it's just hit by air, right? No, not quite. But you should pull up a video and we can pause everything so you can watch this and we can return.
No.
I think you need to see this.
I need to see it.
Yeah, you need to see it. Just you need to see this.
Due to podcast magic, we'll be right back.
A few minutes later.
Okay, now we're back. Carson, that was a very interesting video to watch.
Right? It's kind of anticlimactic.
Very much so.
I don't know what I was expecting when I saw like on my For You page on TikTok, it said like blimp crash. I was expecting to watch a video, maybe like when you let the air out of a balloon, it kind of just goes all over the place.
Yeah.
No, it just kind of deflated and it looks like a grocery bag almost, just like
over buildings.
Yeah, like a big tarp.
That was crazy.
Right? So I don't know exactly how to explain what happened, right? I wasn't there and we don't have an official report except for all the videos. They're still investigating it. But what it looks like is, it started losing air, descended, hit the building, and just kind of crumpled and compressed. And it looks like one of the seams on the actual blimp kind of opens and all the helium just goes out. And that was the whole crash.
It was anticlimactic.
Right?
Yeah, very much so.
But you don't hear about blimps crashing. When have you heard like, Zeppelin?
The Hindenburg. That's a big blimp.
Yeah.
Didn't really crash, kind of caught on fire. And then I guess crashed.
And then crashed. Yeah.
That killed some people.
Aside from that, have you heard of a blimp crashing?
No, I have not.
Right. So that's why when I saw this, I was like, we need to mention this. Like,
I do like that.
This is crazy.
I noticed that not in our show notes, but did you hear about what happened in Japan?
I did hear about what happened in Japan.
And Brandon's going to Japan.
Yep.
I'm going to Japan on Monday.
And are you flying into that airport?
I double checked right before the show started.
Well, just in case people haven't heard, tell them what happened.
Okay. Apparently, a bomb from World War II went off at an airport in Japan and like ruined their runway.
Less than a minute after a plane had just taken off.
Yeah. How ridiculous is that? And I don't know why there were bombs at the airport in the first place. I mean, bombs, that's like the last place that bombs are allowed to be at unless you're a military base.
Well, they didn't have TSA in the 1940s, and that's actually the airport that kamikaze pilots took off of.
Really?
Yeah.
Kamikaze, like the ones that came and like killed Americans.
Came and went. Yeah, those are the ones.
Wow.
Yeah, so they'd take off from that airport, and I was looking into it, and about 3 million tons of unexploded bombs are either found every year or found like in the last decade, but
unexploded ordnances.
Unexploded ordinances. Thank you, sir.
I don't know if ordnance has an S at the end for plural or not.
I think plural is just ordnance. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. It's like moose.
Or aircraft.
Oh yeah. That too.
It's my pet peeve.
I was thinking about animals.
Why? Why would you be thinking about?
Because we're talking about Hawk before.
Oh.
And
yes, the dog.
Yeah.
Okay, back on track here. If you look up the video, or I don't know if there's a video, but the pictures online. Oh, there's video. Wow. You can look at pictures online. It literally took out a runway, and apparently 60 aircraft were also delayed due to this bomb going off. And basically, it was just ordnance that was left over from World War II.
Like it was just out of nowhere, just decided that was the time, and
it went off.
Yeah. I mean, you see like a huge just plume of dust and dirt and debris just flying in the air, and that was it.
And apparently they found other bombs there in the past.
Oh, yeah, they found plenty. I mean, people expect that, we're not going to finish cleaning these things up for a long time.
Wow.
Like there's even part of France that has so much unexploded ordnance, plural, that it's not expected like for 700 years we can't inhabit it. It won't be safe.
Really?
Yeah.
Or we can just bomb it.
And add to the problem?
Well, you make sure the bombs go off.
Yeah, we talked about bombs about bombs going off in the podcast with Dave. I'm kind of concerned we brought it up twice in a week.
Yeah, me too.
after never saying this word on the podcast.
Yeah, it's never been said. It's ridiculous, Carson.
Yeah, anyway, it's been a crazy week. I'm glad I'm not flying into Japan.
Thanks.
Yeah, but Brand's flying into Japan, and
I double checked because
he was double checking. He said, what airport is this, and where am I flying into? And he double checked and was like, okay, I'm not flying to that airport. I said, so you're going into one where bombs have not yet gone off.
Apparently.
Yeah.
No, I'm going to like the main airport in Tokyo. That one should be safe. And then I'm flying out of Osaka, but a small airport out of Osaka when I go to the Philippines after. I'm going to actually go visit our producer, Mark. I'm really excited about that.
Yeah, I'm glad we have extra podcasts already recorded.
Me too.
Just in case.
Just in case. Oh, thanks, Carson. Jeez. All right, let's get back on
Blimps,
track. Okay,
blimps.
So blimps.
So
tell us how blimps work and why they're so rare today.
We're going to go into everything. But these lighter than air vehicles operate in quite a few different ways. It's really interesting on how they actually work and the technical aspects of them. But we're going to go into how many blimps are left and what caused this one to deflate. Actually, we're not going to discuss that. There's no investigation now. I just really want to talk about it.
It's like Inflategate.
Pretty sure it was Deflategate.
Oh, you're right. Maybe it was Deflategate.
Yeah, maybe Tom Brady got a hold of this blimp too.
It's possible.
We should check his whereabouts in the last couple weeks.
Yeah, as you can tell, I don't know sports for anything.
Yeah, it was Tom Brady.
Tom Brady?
Yeah.
Who's that?
He's a famous
I'm just
basketball
kidding.
player.
I am a famous basketball player. No, I know who Tom Brady is. I watched the roast.
You watched the roast of Tom
That was
Brady?
the whole reason why I know who he is.
That's the only reason?
Yeah. I knew he was a football guy.
You're a real guy, huh? Guy's guy.
No, I don't.
Yeah, you're a big fan of sports and sport ball.
Sport ball.
Okay. Anyway, let's keep
Carson,
going.
you are just off it today.
I'm actually on it today.
All right. So let's recap this recent blimp crash in Osaka, São Paulo, Brazil. Okay, Carson.
Right,
so tell us about it. Tell us about it so we can move on.
Okay. September 26th is when it happened. It was a promo blimp. It had a big old banner for Sao Paulo Football Club and deflated unexpectedly, crashed into the residential area. Both crew members, the pilot and co-pilot, there's only two people on that blimp, which I think is interesting. But they survived. Totally okay, just some minor injuries. And the Brazilian Aviation Authority is investigating the incident to determine what caused it. Definitely something I want to hear more about.
I want to know.
Yeah, we don't know yet.
You're going to have to tell me.
Yeah, don't worry. I'll keep up on it. And Mark, actually, this is officially something for you to do. I want you every day to look into this blimp until we find an answer. No, but I think it's just interesting. There's only about 25 to 30 blimps left in the world.
What?
That are still in operation.
That's it.
Just 25 or 30.
Well,
so when one of those crashes, obviously it's
news.
Yeah.
Headline news.
It's headline news.
By the way, I want to get my blimp rating so bad. I actually looked into it and how you can do it.
I think we're going to talk about that in the notes.
Well,
yeah, I should have read the notes.
Well, I'm gonna skip ahead.
All right, tell me about it. So, how long you actually wanted to get a blimp rating?
Well, I have all the other ones. I don't have a blimp rating.
That's such a good reason. I got to collect them all.
Yeah.
Do you have a list that you're checking off?
Yeah, I want my rotorcraft next and blimp rating eventually.
Okay. What do you saving up the money to do it in like R44 instead of a?
No.
Or do you want to do it in a Huey like we talked about?
I wouldn't save up the money. I would just get a loan from Stratus Financial.
That's right. I think this is a perfect time to talk about our friends at Stratus Financial. Don't you, Brandon?
I do. You know what time it is, Carson?
Time is it, Brandon?
It's time to talk about one of our favorite companies.
Which company would that be?
Aviation Mentors is excited to be sponsored by the one and only Stratus Financial, dedicated to supporting the next generation of future aviators.
Stratus Financial really understands the financial challenges that students face in pursuing their aviation dreams. That's why they offer student loans specifically tailored to aspiring pilots.
With competitive rates and flexible repayment plans, Stratus Financial helps take your aviation education to new heights.
So go visit their website today at www.stratus.finance. Just to be clear, that is not .com, it's .finance. And embark on your journey towards a sky full of possibilities.
Carson, it's time to get back to what we do best.
The show.
So I wanted to get my blimp rating for a while, actually. So I started looking into it, I don't know, probably 3, 4, I don't know, maybe even more than that, 5 years ago. Because I remember when I was an auto appraiser, I would always drive by on the 405 freeway and I would see the Goodyear blimp. And I always wanted to get my blimp rating from the Goodyear blimp. And I found out that is probably... Goodyear is the number one company that operates blimps, and now MetLife has one or two, I think, and a few others, which maybe we're getting into the show notes later on. But I know that they have their own in-house training program, and I believe it's even like a 141 training program for blimps through Goodyear.
Do they like pimp out their program, or is it only when you're going to become a Goodyear pilot?
Only Goodyear pilots can join.
That's crazy. Do you know how many people would pay $100,000 to get a blimp rating?
Oh, I don't think
not $100,000, but I mean, like, I think if they offered it, people would come.
I can tell you this: if it was like 20 grand and it was like a week-long course to go get a blimp rating,
yeah,
I would go do it.
Absolutely.
And I think there's a lot of people that would. And I looked into this to see how I can buy a blimp, and I didn't look into it any further after I realized it was really hard to find a blimp for sale. So you have to like commission somebody to build you a blimp.
I was just about to ask, who makes blimps?
I don't know. I think Goodyear might make blimps.
I guess it makes sense.
I think they make blimps, but I don't know who MetLife and Geico would ordered blimps from.
Where do you even get enough helium to fill a blimp? That's my question.
They have to have it in like storage tanks or something underground.
Yeah, but I thought we were in like a helium shortage. How are you even filling this thing up?
We have a helium shortage?
We'll get into that later. Yes, we do.
Oh.
Yeah.
I don't know. Hot air? Warm air?
Like what you're full of?
Precisely. I don't know.
But I think getting a blimp rating, if it was offered, I think people would come.
I think people would come too.
Absolutely. Where do they house that blimp? The Goodyear one?
The Goodyear one? Off the 405 freeway still.
405 is a whole freeway. What
in Carson, actually.
Carson.
The city of Carson.
Very nice. Okay.
It is, yeah.
Yeah, I try and avoid that city. it's not known for being the best city.
It's not bad either.
My namesake was not Carson City. Any of them.
Carson City is different than Carson.
Okay. I was not named after any city that had Carson in the name.
Where'd your name come from?
It means marsh dweller.
Wow. Marsh dweller.
Yeah, I guess if you was like, let me go and I wasn't working for stress, I would like to dwell in marshes. That'd be kind of nice. Like Yoda. But we're way off track now. Okay. Sorry, guys.
Please remember that next week's episode is the best. Don't judge this one for not being the best. Before we get into how blimps work and what really is a blimp, all these other things, Mark just surprised us.
Amazing surprise. Thank you, Mark.
Amazing surprise. And he found out where blimps are manufactured. By the way, Brandon was right. Goodyear Tire and Rubber Company.
Not bad.
Okay. Boom. They do one. Okay. Next one, Carson.
Airship do Brazil. A Brazilian company that manufactured the ADB 3-3 model involved in the crash in Brazil.
Ooh, I don't think we're going to buy from them.
Probably not. They're probably
not.
Under some heat.
Heat. Oh, was that pun intended? I don't know. Is helium heated? No, probably not. Never mind. All right. Next one is Zeppelin. Actually, I am really surprised. It's Zeppelin NT, and I don't know how to say it in German. It's like new technology.
It's probably just new technology.
It's probably new technology. You're right. It's based in Germany. Zeppelin NT. Oh, new technology. Oh, you're right. It probably is new technology. Builds semi-rigid airships and is one of the largest manufacturers of modern airships. They offer versatile models used for tourism, surveillance, and research.
So they offer multiple models.
Wow. Interesting. And there's actually two others.
UK company and two UK companies.
Yeah. Hybrid air vehicles. They develop hybrid airships.
The Airlander 10.
The Airlander 10. Oh, we should talk about that one day. It looks like a giant butt that flies through the sky.
You're not wrong.
It does.
I hate that you're not wrong.
It does.
Yeah, you're right. We should talk about some odd planes that we've seen.
That's not even a plane.
Like the Yak 110 could make it on that list. That's a funky looking thing.
Oh, I miss that Yak 110 so much.
I know.
I love that plane.
I hate to bring it up. I'll get to.
I really want to interview that pilot. That Yak 110 would be amazing to talk about.
Yeah.
It really would.
I'll interview him and you can take the plane.
Oh, I'll take the plane
distract
for
him.
sure. Distract him. And the last one is Lindstrad Technologies, also a UK manufacturer. So we're finding out that all of these people or all these companies are outside of the US except for Goodyear. And I do not think that they make blimps or airships for anybody other than themselves, Goodyear.
Yeah, the Lindstrand one's, it's interesting. It says it's a UK manufacturer that makes various lighter than air vehicles. So they make airships, blimps, and hot air balloons. I think it's interesting that, it makes a lot of sense. You make a hot air balloon, you can make a blimp, right? That kind of adds up.
I guess.
Wow.
Is that how that works?
Yeah, well, if you think about it, a hot air balloon has the, it looks like a little blimp canopy. And then it also has, the hot air, it heats it. So it has to be a lot easier to make a canopy or a tarp, stitch it together and fill it with helium, right?
I guess it would.
Kind of makes sense.
I am enjoying this episode today, though. It's been fun. We'll find out if anybody else is when we get our download history.
I guess we will.
All right. So let's jump into, how does a blimp work? What even is a blimp?
Yeah. So blimp, it's a type of airship and does not have an internal framework because it's called a
dirigible.
Thank you. It maintains its shape through the pressure of the gas inside it, which, like I said, it's usually helium. Helium is non-inflammable and it's safer than using hydrogen, which I think that may be the other one that they use in blimps. But as we saw at the Hindenburg, we don't want to fill it with something flammable, right?
Was that was hydrogen?
I don't know what it was filled with.
Helium's not flammable?
Helium says it's not flammable. Or probably less flammable. I'm assuming everything's flammable, but
now I want to go get
we're
balloons
not gonna
from the
light
store.
We're not going to light balloons on fire.
Come on.
We're not lighting balloons. We're not lighting anything on fire.
We need to do it to test.
Okay, you're right. Can't spell Carson without arson. I should be racing this.
You should.
But anyway, the gas provides the lift, and the engines and the rudder control the movement. So the other question that I had was, how do they steer and how do they move? So they use an engine to propel them forward, and they use a rudder just to steer side to side. And they control the altitude by venting gas or adjusting the ballast weights to go up and down.
Is there yaw?
I don't know. I'm not a pilot for a blimp.
Carson, you're supposed to.
You're going to find one of the few blimp pilots and ask them that question?
Oh, I totally want to interview a blimp pilot.
That'd be so cool.
If anybody on here knows a blimp pilot,
please let us know.
Please let us know. We want to interview a blimp.
Yeah, I had something for Brandon for Christmas, and that'd make a great gift.
It would make a great gift. Great gift.
What are you going to get for the guy that already has me working for him? Anyway.
That's the greatest gift in the world.
Man, I have a lot of great quotes this episode. I should make some.
Great is subjective, Carson. All right, number of blimps today. How many of them are still in operation? Carson said there's 25 to 30 still in operation globally. I feel like that number's so low. There should be more, especially with 5 or 6 blimp manufacturers in the world. There should be more than that. Like
maybe that's just a list of people that historically have made them.
Oh.
Or maybe when they make a new one, they age out the old ones.
I don't think so. Well, maybe they did that with the one in Carson. Yeah, it was like N1N or something was the tail number on it.
You know who has the tail number November 1?
The FAA.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they own it.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Anyway, sorry. So why are there so few blimps?
Well, Carson, they're expensive to build and maintain. I don't know why they'd be expensive to maintain. Maybe with the
I'm assuming what you fill them with. Yeah, I can't imagine that's cheap. You ever been to Party City to get some balloons or like a tank? It's a lot.
Is it?
Okay, one tank. Right.
Oh,
it's cost like $50 at least.
Oh, that is expensive.
So how much do you think it's going to cost to fill up that big old blimp?
The
answer's a lot more, Brandon. A lot more.
A couple hundred.
Yeah, don't try.
I'm like trying to do the math in my head. Cubic inches into cubic feet into.
But anyway, modern aircraft like helicopters and drones are way more efficient, way more versatile, but it doesn't have that gotcha factor that a blimp does, which is why there are so many used for. You see a blimp versus a plane. You see planes all the time. You see a blimp come in, you're like, it's just an eye catcher.
I sure hope the blimp is at the air show this weekend. Are you going to the air show?
I'm not going to the air show.
Why are you not going to the air show?
I didn't have plans. No one ever invited me.
Carson, we just made plans.
Okay.
You're coming to the air show. I even applied for media passes for us.
Did you?
I didn't get them granted yet, but I applied. I applied yesterday when I found out that they were available.
Bill Gates is coming to your birthday party. Well, I'm not sure, but I did invite him to your birthday party.
All right. How do you become a blimp pilot? You need a lighter than air certification with an airship rating from the FAA, which, like I've alluded to earlier, is impossible to find somebody to do. And if you want to become a DPE for it, you got to go work for a company like Goodyear.
How many hours do you think a DPE for a blimp rating has?
It's actually really low. The requirements are a lot lower than airplanes.
Which is why that one crashed in Brazil?
Probably. No, it's literally
like 25 hours, right? Yeah. Next point. Sorry. I won't take that away from you, Brendan. So what's involved in blimp training?
Oh, thank you. You have to do a written exam. You got to get the right amount of flight hours, and you have to master the control of a blimp or the aircraft. I don't know.
I can imagine it's got to be pretty unique to be adding weight or taking away by venting the gas and then trying to steer with the rudder and engine. Like it's unique. It's new.
Yeah, I don't know how difficult it would be. I mean, it would be everything's difficult in the beginning, but I feel like it would be something easier to master.
Something you have to get a feel for
than a helicopter or something like that. So what's involved in the training? They need at least 25 hours in a blimp, which is pretty cool. But most blimp pilots start as fixed wing pilots and transition to blimps. That would be me, Carson. That's what I want to do. I want to transition to my blimp.
I'm just trying to think, could you imagine going in with no ratings and your first rating is private pilot blimp, lighter than air? And
that's a thing. I
know.
It's in the FAR aim.
But I'm thinking if you use a blimp as the aircraft, I'm just trying to think.
You have to learn radios.
Me going and learning radios, me trying to fly from, I know it wouldn't happen, but Riverside to Ramona in a blimp as my solo flight. And you're my CFI just at home, just really hoping that I make it
in 4 hours.
Yeah. in 4 hours. Yeah, that's
for 50 nautical miles, exactly.
Yeah, so I really hope that most blimp pilots start as a fixed-wing pilot first, because I can't imagine how much that would cost to do 40 hours minimum, or 35 if it's 141, like you said.
That might be.
I couldn't imagine that.
All right. So what's a little bit different than flying a blimp? It's a lot slower. It's more sensitive to wind, obviously. Pilots have to constantly adjust for changes in buoyancy and air currents. I'm guessing it's probably like I don't know, driving a low-powered boat, like a Duffy in strong currents.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like there's so much surface area, you're just going to feel everything.
Yeah, I mean, it's true. So, well, we had some other questions on here. We're running low on time, but there's one thing I really want to kind of touch on. But how fast does a blimp fly, Carson?
They're obviously way slower. It's a huge aircraft and just full of gas. So it's only going to go about 50 to 60 miles an hour max. Usually way less maneuverable, but they're really stable, surprisingly.
Wow.
Yeah.
I mean, whenever I see it, I actually have a video of one doing a high-speed pass over Chino Airport's runway.
No way.
Yeah, AOPA did an event in like 2018 at Chino Airport, and I remember seeing it. It was really cool.
That's awesome. I've only seen him just from stadiums. Like I used to go to USC football games all the time, and I would see it fly over. And
this was 10 feet over the runway. It was.
I couldn't imagine that. That's
high-speed pass. Yeah, it was like 10 knots.
Are you walking next to it?
You can go faster. Yeah,
that's crazy. Neat, but they're definitely an eye catcher. Blimps are. I think they're so interesting to look at, and I would love to get a rating in one.
Let's go buy a blimp.
Let's go buy a blimp. Now we know the manufacturers.
We know all the manufacturers. Yeah.
Stratus blimp.
The Stratus blimp. Ooh. Hey, Anthony.
Hey, buddy.
You ready to go get a blimp?
Yeah.
All right. So questions for some of our audience, and you can comment down below. If you had the opportunity, would you consider becoming a blimp pilot? And if you would, comment below. Let us know if you would or you wouldn't. Or...
I want to hear. I'm more interested in why you wouldn't want to become a blimp pilot.
Yeah. Why would you not?
Yeah. Why would you not want to do that?
Yeah, that's true.
The other question that we have, though, is what other kind of unconventional aircraft are you curious about? Because there's plenty. You can strap an engine to a lawn chair and take off, right?
I mean, yeah.
Man. Okay. So I'd like to have an episode about unconventional aircraft. Please let me know what you guys think down below, what we should cover, because I am so interested in putting something together on that for you.
That's much better, Carson.
Yeah, thank you.
No problem. All right. As we wrap up the day, oh, sorry. I'm lying.
You trying to take my
I was
my
trying to take it on
intro?
purpose from Carson.
Oh,
Now, if you want to reach out to either one of us, you can reach us, of course, always on our emails, Brandon@aviationmentors.com or Carson@aviationmentors. For our producer, Mark, it is producer@aviationmentors.com. Don't forget to hit like, subscribe, follow, do all the things, please, on social media. You know what to do. I mean, it's like right down there or down there. I still don't know which way it is.
Somewhere across the bottom.
Somewhere across the bottom.
Please.
Click all the buttons, please. Just all the way across. All right. It doesn't just help our podcast. It really helps us grow the aviation community and really it helps us help new pilots and other pilots that are working on different ratings. By the way, I did get a few emails from a few of our listeners in the past week. I know Carson didn't, but I did, and I will get back to you. I just haven't had a chance because I'm getting prepped and ready for my Japan trip. So I apologize about my slow reply. But there's one in particular. It's a young fan. I think he's 16 or 17 years old. Asked me some questions. I will get back to you as soon as I can. So thanks so much for shooting over that email. I really appreciate it.
That's awesome. Well, everyone else, as we wrap up for the day, remember, we're here to guide you in your aviation journey. So fly safe and enjoy the ride.
See you guys.
See ya.